Welcome to the wonderful world of Waikato Sheds, my friends. It is a Friday, and you know how much we love Fridays. We're hosting a LinkedIn local event here. We're doing it with Good George. Check it out. They brought the aged whiskey barrels, People's Cut. We're having taste testings. We're rolling on inside. The event hasn't even started, and we've already got lots of people showing up, ready to get into it. So we've got people helping out on the counter. We're going to have different speakers. We've got Troy Hilliard over there. He's from Wash Right, Lawn Right. He's been doing it. Cruising down, we've got our man Bronick, we've got Thomas, we've got the team. They're all excited. They're here just enjoying themselves. That's it. Part of this is obviously just mainly networking, having a good time, showing how much fun you can have in a shed. You know what Mark says, you always can have fun in a shed. So that's it. We've got friends coming down for it all as well. But what we've also been doing, and we've been working hard, we've set up an area here for the speakers. Mark's been hard at it. He's created a stage. So we've got Daryl from Good George. He's going to be speaking. Greta from Waitomo. They're going to be doing a bit of a chat. That's going to be coming up later on in it. Then we've got the Shed Quarters Bar. We're excited. Who's not excited? You come on through in the hallway. That's it. If you want one of these signs on your fence, let us know and we can make that happen for you. Then you can come into the bar, and Mark's been working hard on this. Paul's been working hard. My wonderful wife, Frida. Welcome to Waikato Sheds. Anything for the wonderful people out there on YouTube?
Oh gosh, you've caught me out in this one. It's a great place to be. It's a really lovely bar. Really nice. Well done to the team that have made it.
That's it. Speaking of the team that made it, we got Mark, the man.
G'day, Mark. I'm a man. I made the bar. Yep, really happy with how it's turned out. It's been a real collaboration with a few different people. We've had working at youth program on site, and we've been making sure that they've been working hard. And also Paul and Stan doing a phenomenal job on the tin behind us. They've clad this wall and Coro, and it looks beautiful, and yeah, it's cool. It just came together at the last minute. Bronick with his bar leaner, got some beautiful food on there. Paul made his beautiful bar. He's put his little 4-leaf clover. He's got that lucky touch, old Paul. And yeah, it's really come together nicely, so it's exciting times ahead. This will be my office. If you ever need to find me, I'll be here.
That's it. So we've got a team for it. We've also got a shout out to the greatest sight dog, Wesley's up there as well. We love you, Wes. Resting up there in doggy heaven, watching over in buildings. So RIP, Wes. So that's it. We're going to just be continuing it on. We'll be filming this event, seeing what's going on. So yeah, stick with us. Alright, so we're here. It's a beautiful Friday afternoon. We're here with our favourite man, KJ. Pleasure. I'm great. Well, let's just check in the grass. There's been a little bit of a discussion, and we wanted to ask this one from the expert. Is it potential that Brian's blades are blunt? Because we've all becoming a little bit of grass experts here, but this man is a grass expert.
It's official. Brian, you need to sharpen your blades.
All right, Brian, you heard it here first. Shane was scared to say it to you, but we thought, let's run it by us, KJ. So, keeper's way.
It's all looking all right there out here, eh? And what a great night tonight that Waikato Sheds have put on. I'm really excited by this, and thanks for having me over here. And it is really cool to see how this place has grown so much, mate. And it's a good tall festive lawn here.
Yeah, that's it. Probably a few like we can stand up, hey, but a few highlights, hey. I mean, you've been along the journey, like you truly have, KJ. It's like, what do you think, hey? Well, it's pretty special, eh? Tonight, it's going well.
I just look at this, and just from where I first met you guys to where we are now, and the great people that are involved now, and I'm really proud for Brian.
Yeah.
To see that this was his this is baby, and it's grown into something that's really special, and it's really cool. And it's just really cool. And I'm so privileged to be involved with you guys, and I do love it, and I love coming out here, and I just love what you're on about, and I love all the people that are connected in some way, and mate, I'm just proud to be here with you, mate.
Yeah, same here, man. It's awesome. And I think that's probably like a little bit of a theme of this night, It's building a brand. But in the Waikato, you can build a brand by just being a good person and associating yourself with good people. And that goes a long way. So I think we should probably get inside, get some good George into us, and meet some more good people.
Sounds good to me.
Welcome to LinkedIn Local Hamilton. Oh, we're going to try that again. Hey everybody, welcome to LinkedIn Local Hamilton. Yeah, that's better. It's Friday. It's Friday. Okay, so I won't be up here for too long, but welcome to LinkedIn Local Hamilton. This is the 25th time I've done this, which is a little bit crazy because this started out in the Harcourt's auction room, not really knowing if anyone would want to turn up to this salesy Harcourt's thing. But it was never about that, it was always about just building. Yeah, having all the fun out there. Hey, Jason. It was always about kind of creating an environment where people could come along, not take themselves too seriously, but still create a relationship that may turn into business. And how many people have met a client at LinkedIn Local? Can you put up your hands? Hey, there's not enough hands. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so it's not about that, but it's definitely a good platform. But I try to make it more about the people and having a good time. Hey Tracy, I see you. And yeah, so I'm just going to invite Jason. I think he's kicking people out from out there. To Jason from Waikato Shed. So this can't happen without sponsors, primarily, because they pay for all that food and all these beverages and stuff, which is really cool. Because then you don't have to pay $50 for a ticket. You know, you can donate if you feel like being a good person. But also there's heaps of free tickets. So that's why most of you turn up, because it's free, right? No. Anyway, here's Jason.
Alright, welcome along, happy Friday. I'll keep it short and sweet for it. Thanks everyone for coming along. I saw Dan put this out on LinkedIn, I don't know, a few months ago, and I actually went along to the first one. I was in sales, actually doing international freight at that point, and I went along to a couple of the events with it, and just met a lot of cool people, learnt a lot of the ideas that was going on. But one of the things that I really took on board was put yourself out there, and don't be afraid to like other people's posts, comment, get involved. LinkedIn's a business community that's actually really supportive. And from that led to getting involved in sales, now the general manager and part owner of Waikato Sheds. And a large chunk of the success over the last few years is just putting ourselves out there on social media. There's awesome stuff that happens all the time in Waikato and across the country. But most people don't know, because no one puts anything out there and you aren't aware. So we've been happy to put ourselves out there. I saw this and I thought, man, 25 years, let's do it again.
25 events.
25 events. Yeah, that's it, not quite that old. Thanks, good George, that whiskey's tasting great. Let's hand it over to the speakers. We're not going to do a big long chamber event. We do great sheds. If you ever need a shed or anybody ever talks about, like, hey, I met some cool people at Waikato Sheds, have a listen to them and talk to them. So I'll hand it back over to Dan, and thanks for him running 25 events, not years.
So our theme is building a brand from the Waikato. And something I try and do is really mix up the speakers and get people in who you probably wouldn't usually hear from at other networking events. So all three of these people work for companies who started in the Waikato and have spread nationwide, and not necessarily because they're coming at you with their marketing. Building a brand is far more than just marketing. Building a brand is the experience, it's what you feel when you interact with a business, it's the customer service, it's the quality of the product. So all of these things are what a brand is. So we might hear about this from these guys and ladies. I think Daryl is going first. So Daryl from Good George, he's one of the co-founders. We've got Greta from Waitomo, and we've got Troy Hillard from Rite Group. I think that's the order we're going, isn't it? Yep. So without further ado, here's Daryl.
Thanks, Daniel. I think I spoke one of these before in 2018, one of the earlier LinkedIn events. I remember it well, and some stuff's happened since then, I tell you. But thanks to Jason for your idea, inviting us along, and great to be a part of it. I wish my shed looked like this. This is pretty spectacular situation right here. So we've been connected into the Waikato for many, many years. So for those perhaps with some grey hairs like me might remember back in the 90s, I was actually involved running the Outback Inn in those sorts of bad old days. And my business partner now, Jason, he was one of the founders of Iguana Restaurant. And so we did a bunch of stuff. Went away, came back, and in 2006 formed what was called the Phoenix Group, and we did a bunch of bars, House Bar, CBD, Rodeo, sort of Mackenzie. We're involved in Domain, places like that. So some signature sort of local outlets, local brands that we built up over the years. About 20 outlets in total that we sort of built up or sold and moved on or whatever. But what we got a little bit tired of doing, of course, was pouring other people's products and building their brands within our own venues. And so that sort of inspired the whole shift into craft breweries. So at the time it was the 8th venue in our little group, Good George, when we started in Frankton. There's a lovely Frankton connection with the speakers here tonight, which is awesome as well. But we started there in 2012, and about the time post that last recession where craft beer and craft and local stuff in general was really kicking off, and we identified locally in the Waikato there really wasn't much of the craft sort of beverage scene happening. So that's where we started. There's three of us, Brian, Jason and myself, and Brian was the sort of third cog, and Brian, fortunately for us, knew how to brew beer and a bunch of other stuff. So that's the key ingredient. So from there, we started just pouring on site in Frankton, and to this day we do everything there. So we've got a brewery and a distillery. We've got our own warehouse. We employ our own salespeople, marketing, the whole bit. We do it all based out of Frankton to this day, which is pretty cool. Right now we're the #1 independently owned craft cider supplier in New Zealand, and we're about the #5th or 6th craft beer producer. And we're doing exceptionally well with our gins and our spirit program and our whiskey, which I'll tell you about in a moment. So a big part of our hospitality background has enabled us to talk to a lot of pub owners, and we've got a model whereby we go in and license venues across the country. So, for example, a venue in Tauranga or Bay of Plenty, they might enter a 5 or 7 year agreement with us. We help them design their venue, we help them with their brand, we help them launch it, and then we're a key supply partner for a number of years post that, and that's how we're sort of expanding the footprint, if you like. It's not a new thing. Ryan and DB and the likes have sort of done it over the years, but we put a bit of Good George twist to it and bring our brand and our attitude along the way to that as well. So as a result of that, we've got about 20 licensed venues currently with us around the country, and we've got about another 30 contracted venues, bars and restaurants that regularly pour Good George, and about 750 retailers across the country as well who stock our products. Done a little bit of export over the years. It's still a bit of an untapped thing for us. Like to focus locally. That's sort of been our strategy to this point. In terms of the theme of tonight's about how we do business here, and locally. So when we first started, we decided we'd come up with this thing called Fortress Waikato. So we knew that by studying other craft brands that have been successful, no matter what they did, they were always very successful within 100 kilometres of their home base. Because that's the cheapest, right? It's easy to service, it's easy to jump in the car and go and visit, sort out a drama, deliver a keg, those sorts of things. So we really concentrated locally, called it Fortress Waikato, went on a 3-year plan, and really made sure we were strong locally. And by that we mean we're sponsoring the right events, we're at all the right occasions, we're trying to partner with the right operators and got outlets in the key locations. And we worked really hard at that, and we think during those COVID times when things got pretty shitty, pretty tough, we think that served us a really good stead, because it was the local market that really came back strong, and we can see that. And local for us is very much the Chiefs region. It's very much Coromandel's part, we call that's our home patch as well. Across into the bay, really, really strong over there as well, out to Raglan. That's our home patch, and we love it, and we really enjoy it. There's something about the Waikato that's been really good for us. We've infused it into our brand along the way. I think Hamiltonians, think back 15 years ago, all the jokes were about Hamilton. They don't joke about Hamilton anymore, but they did back then. And so we were able to harness a little bit of that self-deprecating humour and weave it into our brand along the way. And it really sort of resonates locally. I was doing a project the other day with actually about our whiskey, and we were talking about how we're going to market it outside of our region and overseas as well. And we think the reason why people resonate with what we do locally and what other key brands do locally, it's summed up with people like us doing things we like. So if you can get that infused into your brand, if you can put a bit of a face and a bit of personality to it and echo or mirror your potential customers, then you're a long way there to making it work. And I think there's something that's true blue, and maybe it's our Frankton heritage. People in the Waikato get shit done, and that resonates and really connects to people like us who are potential customers right around the country. And I think when we've done really good stuff as a brand over the years, it's because we've just got shit done. And that was where COVID was really good for us, was because we kind of got to 5 years, we were 7 years, whatever, we're kind of over that middle-aged sort of hump. We weren't the little guy anymore, we were up here, and we were getting a little bit complacent, maybe, I'm not sure, and then COVID comes and whoosh, just really threw us for six. We didn't know whether we had a business anymore, but it put us back in that mindset, let's just get some shit done, let's have a go. And so out of that, started our distillery, and we did some pretty cool stuff with some gin over that time. I've talked to a few people about it in the room already. The F-Off series that we did, we sold 40,000 bottles of F-Off 2020 gin, and that took us from like here, so that's more than a skate race will sell in a calendar year. So it was a significant thing for us, and we've taken that attitude and we've kept our online store and we've kept that pumping along. And a lot of other breweries sort of went, oh, that's over now, and then they moved on from it. So we've embraced that, and I think that's when we're at our best, when we're having a good old crack at things. And I look at other businesses and people in the room, and I know no matter where you are at the stage in your business and what have you, I think as long as you're moving forward, and it's pretty shitty times at the moment, particularly we're exposed to hospitality and grocery, brewing. You don't have to pick up a paper or go online and read about some of the woes within the industry. It's just about maintaining momentum and looking forward. I think there's some exciting things to come from hospitality, because we're getting to the right at the bottom where it starts to go up, and then people are looking for new ideas, and then that's when little old good George can really start to come into its own and come up with some fresh ideas and some new ideas. So I'm obviously trying to be positive around that space, because there's a lot of pain out there, but at the same time, you've just got to see the opportunity. So whiskey, right? So that leads me into whiskey. What right has good George and Frankton got to be doing whiskey, right? There's no Highland Cows or Tussock or bloody Scotland scenery in Somerset Street or King Street in Frankton, but it's precisely the reason why we wanted to give it a go. So we had a bit of a play around in 2019. It was a a bit of a project that somebody owed us a favour and they knew how to make whiskey. So we put 7 barrels of whiskey down in 2019 and thought we'll have a go, but then, you know, what happened, so we make shit tons of gin. So the whiskey barrels have been sitting there, aging nicely, and last year we pulled them out and tasted them and go, holy shit, this actually tastes really, really good. There might be something in this. And so after a lot of research and background, we've launched our whiskey program. We're really going to get into it in a big way. We've got a gap in our program of, say, 3 years, so we can't actually go into the market with whiskey bottles right now. So we're doing whiskey barrels and we're selling shares in whiskey barrels or selling full barrels to people. Brand new still, big copper still down at the distillery or brewery. I'd love to have you all come down and see it if you want to and experience it. We've sold 70 barrels already into the program, and that's a combination of people buying it for themselves, or they might get together with a group of friends and buy them. We've got real estate agents who have bought it. It's all tax deductible, they tell me. Well, whiskey is such a cool thing too, right? Because in this world, everyone wants something right now. They want it red and shiny and yesterday. But whiskey is something that you're putting your money into and you just can't have it right now. But you get to own it. You get a certificate of title. You get to tell your friends all about it. If you love your whiskey, you get to work with us and really craft something specific to you with the malts or the choice of the barrel. But a lot of people don't give a shit. They're doing it as a sense of being together. It's another experience. And so we're having a lot of fun with that. It's not without its challenges. It's like anything. It's a $16,000 investment. And right now it's a significant investment, but it's something that is bringing us a lot of fun. And it's a great way for us to actually continue to invest in that program where we're actually putting barrels down every week for ourselves. So whiskey in itself is why in the Waikato? Well, we are perfect for whiskey. Who knew? It's because of the temperature fluctuations. You put whiskey into a barrel on day one and it really gets it's a clear liquid and it gets its flavour from the charred barrel. There's a couple of barrels at the door and whiskey sampling at the back, but it gets its flavour from the oak and it goes in and out of the oak, and extra humidity in the fluctuation in temperature is actually what accelerates aging. So we can get a 5-year-old whiskey out of Hamilton, Frankton and Hamilton, to taste like a 12-year-old Scottish single malt. And so we've won awards internationally for our whiskey. It's a pity we don't have more to hit the market right now because everybody's in the world is gagging for more and more whiskey. But it's just a real interesting thing. And it just goes to our DNA to make sure that we're having a go. We have to be careful we don't try and chase everything, but we try and get our pioneering spirit across in our brand, and it makes sense to people, and people trust us. If they're doing this, it must taste pretty good, I'll give it a go. And so that's part of what we're really, really focusing on right now. What's next for us? Really accelerating and keeping that spirits program going well. Obviously kicking goals in cider. We'd love to come up with a new hospitality concept moving into next year to inject a bit of, be a part of the new wave that's no doubt coming in that and being a core part of it all. Very much around, surviving as successful in our game in the last sort of 12 months. So we're looking forward to the green shoots and everything that's we can see that's coming down the line. But a lot of our early success is down to, I think, the fact that we're born and bred locally here in the Waikato, and it's cool to meet you all tonight and share a few drinks and get amongst it. Be safe. There's plenty of non-alcoholic ones up there as well. Enjoy yourself, and thanks for having me.
Stand or sit. It was funny sitting in front of you all. Tough gig to follow too. I'm not going to talk about whiskey or beer. I'm actually going to talk about petrol and diesel, so it's not quite as sexy. Kia ora. Really nice to be here. Thank you, Daniel, for inviting me, and Jason and all the crew for having us. It's been a long time. I came to a couple of these events, I think it was probably about 6 years ago. And to be honest, I have... Is that better?
Thank you.
Okay. And I haven't been for a while, and it's really cool to see how it's grown and developed over that time. The other thing, I came along thinking I was going to show you a presentation with a whole lot of slides, and then was told, no, we don't do that here. So I'm kind of winging it tonight, but that's how Waitomo does it, if nothing if not agile. So bear with me. Imagine the pretty pictures behind me while I talk to you a little bit about Waitomo and what we do. So some of you in the room, hopefully a lot of you in the room, are customers of Waitomo and you know what we're about, but there's probably some people here who don't know us or don't understand the full remit of what we do. And I think a lot of people, I'm always surprised, think that we're a relatively new business, that we've come onto the market as a disruptor of the fuel business. We've actually been around for 77 years. So started by a guy who is the grandfather of this man standing over here in Tikawiti back in 1947. I obviously never met Desmond Ormsby. I wish I did. He sounds like a real character. I've heard that he liked to smoke a cigar every now and then. He drove a Rolls Royce. Sounds like the kind of person that I would like to get to know. But I do have the great privilege of knowing Desmond's son, which is Gray Ormsby, who then took over the business from Desmond. And he just celebrated his 85th birthday last week. He's the kaumātua of Waitomo and still is very present in the business, still attends our board meetings. And then he handed the business over to Jimmy, who's the third generation of the Ormsby whānau, who now, with his wife Elsa, is 100% owners of Waitomo. So some of you will have seen our sites, because they're popping up all over the place. The retail sites, you can go to Ruakura or Mystery Creek, Matamata, Morrinsville, they're all over the place around the kind of golden triangle. But that's only 50% of what we do. So we have retail fuel stops now from Paihia to Invercargill, and we're in massive expansion mode at the moment. In fact, we have, I think it's 7 now, sometimes it's 8, maybe 7 to open before Christmas. We've got 2 new ones in Hamilton to open next week, so we will be opening one in Greenwood Street and one on Te Rapa Street. But you can kind of see how fast our growth is going at the moment, and once we've finished those ones before Christmas, then there's a massive pipeline of sites right across Aotearoa from there on in. The other part of our business that some people know us through is our commercial refueling. So 50% of our business is related to refueling, whether it's your farm, your business, in ports, in airports. We're pretty much all over the place. We have a large fleet of trucks, big trucks and little trucks, and we go around and we fill up whatever you need filled up. The other part that we do in the commercial side of the business is fuel cards. So there will be some people in the room who have fuel cards with us. So it's a pretty cool story to have done that from the Waikato, and we're really incredibly proud of our heritage here. But how did we do that? And how did we build that brand? Because we're now a national brand, and we are relatively well known, I think, now. And I think it kind of comes down to some of the stuff that Daniel mentioned at the start. A brand is not the logo that you see on our trucks or our cars and on our uniforms. To me, a brand is very much all the little bits holistically that you build up over time. And when I think about the Waitomo brand and how we've moved it from here to here, I look back to 1947 and what Desmond instilled in all of us that we still think about every day. So that's our values. So we talk a lot in our business about people, so great people, top performance, and a fairer price for our fuel. And that kind of sets the tone for every decision that we make in our business. And then there has also been some really key moments in our history, particularly I've been in the business for about 6 years now, and I really do think in the last 5 years we've kind of gone from a brand to, we're taking off now. And there's been a few things that have happened over that time that I really think about that really changed the landscape for Waitomo. The first of those was we were, in our golden triangle around the greater and the kind of Chiefs country that you talk about, Darryl. Jimmy and Simon, our chief executive, who's also down there, made a decision back in 2018, it was around the time that I came into the business, that they were going to enter the market in Wellington. So Wellington, at the time, there was only the majors. There was no disruptor brands, no low-cost operators in there. And you can imagine the prices sat about here. So we announced that we were going to go into Wellington. And just the effect of us coming into town dropped the prices by 20 to 30 cents a litre. You imagine how much that puts back into the local economy. The first site that we opened in Waitomo, we were all there, okay, I wonder what this is going to be like. We turned up 3 kilometres maybe of cars in either direction waiting to fill up with us. And as a result of that, we got huge media coverage, and Jimmy was on 7 Sharp, and it was a big deal. Jimmy was like the legend who had come to town. Like, who's this guy? And that really was the start of what then continued over the next few years. The next thing that happened for us was, so we're an unmanned site, we're unmanned. There's no relationship with us. You don't know who Jimmy is. You don't know who we are. How did we address that? So we developed an app so you can fuel with us via an app. And what that did, along with telling us who our customers, to get more information about who were our customers that were fueling with us, it gave us an opportunity to talk to our customers as well and create a persona for the brand of Waitomo. And I always say, if you meet Jimmy, he's a bit cheeky and fun, and he does a lot of this and cheer bro, and that's how we built the persona of the app, which then kind of correlates to the brand of Waitomo. So that was the next thing that kind of helped us. Then we spent a lot of time as a business thinking about what are we actually doing here? Like, what's our aim? Where are we going? So we spent a lot of time talking about what's our vision for where we want to go, what's our mission, how are we going to get there. And we came up, there was a lot of discussion in the business about it. We want to be Kiwi's first choice for fuel. And that seems like really, well, that's pretty far out there. But that means we're always trying to get there. And that's what we focus on. But then we don't just think about that's our vision, we also think about how we're going to get there. And so then we developed what we call the Waitomo behaviours. And that's how each of our people show up every day. Like, we want to be competitive, we want to be curious about stuff, we want to continually be improving everything that we do. And I really think that set the tone for the next few years of success, because if all of us are living and breathing that, we're on the right path. The next bit that really kind of launched us was last year. We made the decision to purchase Zed's commercial refuelling and mini tanker business, and that's created a national footprint for us. So we have these sites dotted all over the country, but now we can refuel literally right across the country. And that has been an absolute game changer for us. So now we could talk to relatively large businesses around the greater Waikato and Auckland, but now we can literally talk to anyone, and guess what? They're coming and talking to us, because all those things that we've put in place and all the values that we've set up, that's resonating. We're Kiwis fueling Kiwis, and who doesn't want to be back in the Kiwi in the current climate? So what's next for us? Supercharge, we call it. So now we've got this foundation, and if you think, on my presentation, there was a rocket, basically. This is where we're going to go, and there's no stopping us. As I said, massive plans for network expansion. Who knows what the next thing might be? I'm always like, every time I turn up to work, I'm like, Jimmy and Simon will be hatching some plan. I don't know where we're going today, but it's all good because we're all set up to do that. It's a really cool story, and I'm just really privileged to be able to tell you a little bit about it. So some of my colleagues are dotted around tonight, so do take the opportunity to talk to them because they're all part of our brand as well. The other thing, I'm born and bred, proud from the Waikato, and I'm really proud of our region, and I love seeing these kind of events happen. So if there's ever anything that you want to talk about brand-wise, or how do I launch a brand, or what support could, I'm really happy to have those conversations, so reach out to me. I'm on LinkedIn as well. And the final thing, shamelessly, I'm going to make a bit of a plug. You may have seen in some of the publicity recently on LinkedIn that Waitomo is proudly the finalist in 5 categories in the Waikato Business Awards. So if you like us, or you like what we're trying to do, there's another award called the People's Choice Award, which we would really love to win as well. So vote for us, please.
Hi guys, Troy Hillard, the owner of the Rite Group. A lot of you guys already know. So the Rite Group, most people here would have never not heard of that name before, and that's pretty much on purpose. That's our whole business model. Our business owns 100% of 4 different franchise brands across New Zealand. Today we've got about 241 franchisees across New Zealand today. Those 4 brands are WashRite, it's house and building washing. We are the largest exterior cleaner in the Southern Hemisphere with about 104 trucks on the road today. Our next largest brand would be lawn mowing. We've got about 100 franchisees out there mowing lawns 7 days a week, hopefully. Probably about 4 days. But then we've got Hallmark Services, does commercial cleaning, carpet cleaning, and I think there's about 30, 40 of those. And then we've got the Handyman Group that make up the rest. Those guys do handyman renovations, small repairs around the house. So we are definitely in that home services sector. The business was started in 2015 in Hamilton, in Frankton, as we're all based in Frankton, as previously said. For us, our business started in 2015 with the goal to franchise. It's always been the model. It started with reading the book Rich Dad Poor Dad from Robert Kiyosaki, and I'm lazy but also a little bit greedy, and I wanted to figure out a way to make money from all different cash flow quadrants, and franchising was pretty much it. So that's pretty much where the idea came from, and through a lot of help and a lot of good people in Hamilton. As you can probably tell, I am Australian, so I did migrate here in 2011. Came here with nothing, knew no one, but the good people from Hamilton and the Waikato pretty much adopted me and helped me to grow my business. The best part about Hamilton is you can pick up the phone, call John Gallagher, and he'll come down and have coffee with you. He'll invite you to his Rotary group, which he got us to join, all the way down to the local plumber, the local electrician, the local lawnmower guy, and they'll all help you to grow your business. Our business is growing very, very rapidly to a point where we struggle to keep up with the growth. We're putting on 1 franchise every Monday at a minimum. This Monday coming, we've got 3, I think. We will put about 55, 56 new franchisees on this year. Late January, early February, we will be taking our WashRite brand back to Australia. And we hope to take a New Zealand brand and New Zealand business and dominate Australia as we've done with our brands over here. Now, our brand, I think of 3 things when I think of our brands that we have. The first one is default aggressive. Everything we do it aggressively. We aggressively chase our customers, we aggressively chase excellence, we aggressively chase new franchisees. The other big thing is good people doing good things. We wouldn't have what we have without 240 good Kiwi families, husbands and wives, investing in our brands, in our business to benefit their family and their life. So good people doing good things is very important to us. And probably the other big thing for us is you have to give to get. Anything in business, you have to be able to give without expecting back, in the hope that you will get it back. And it does always come back. So for us, give to get, whether that's through hospice or any other charities, pink breakfast days, we always give away free vouchers, free services. So if anyone needs anything of that, we're happy to give away the free services there. Now, our business and our brand is basically revolves around our family. Obviously, Sarah, my partner there, but also our staff and our staff's families. We are still a small business, even though we are 240 franchisees deep. We still are only staff of 6 or 7, and that includes us. So, yeah, very, very important that we are a family business, and we do look at businesses like the Waitomos. You've got businesses around like the Wymers, the Gallaghers. These are old school businesses, old school families, and if you look at their success, they only have their success because they were a family business. So we do try and keep that familyness in our business. And that's really about it for us. As I said, our business model revolves around, everyone here heard of Unilever or Procter & Gamble? Businesses that most people don't particularly hear about, but they own all the brands around them that are normally in the supermarket. That's our business model. So we have basically have the Rite Group that no one's ever going to hear about, and then you have our brands around the outside that hopefully you guys use around your house or around your business. And recently, in the last couple of years, we have started to invest into other businesses, either predominantly to help those businesses franchise, and we are always on the lookout for good, honest people that we can help and invest in to help grow their business, but also grow ours as well. And that's really about it for me, really. So we are just your standard Hamilton-based home service franchise network.
Thanks, Troy. Thanks, Greta. And thanks, Daryl. So we do. Sometimes the hardest part, you're all really good, but sometimes the hardest part is to make speakers only speak for 10 minutes. So, as you can imagine, some people love to talk, like sometimes, all good. Have we got any questions?